So one key area where AI and visual machine learning has been improving rapidly is in the realm of AI-generated synthetic content. Now, typically, AI tools that can create synthetic content are built using what's called generative adversarial networks, or GANs. And at a high level, that's really where there are two neural networks. One is creating content, and a second is validating it. And through a process of looping, the network that's creating the content can create really highly convincing content that can fool the second neural network into validating it and saying this is real. And you can see on the left side of the screen here, I know it's small, but these are all synthetic content that were generated, from nothing. And you can see that the quality is actually very convincing. Now, it's also really important to recognize that these networks, they rely on high volumes of image data for training, testing, and validation. In order for this process to work, you really need, millions of images or content to process. Now, right now, as I said, we're seeing high quality synthetic content that can be generated using GANs. And we're seeing innovation by industry as well as academia. And often there's a combination of the two. And innovators in this area are not sitting still, as the state of the art is rapidly advancing. The world's leading research institutions are working on computer vision models and applications, and they commonly distribute their work as open source. It gets a little blurry sometimes, because we also see commercial enterprises making great strides in this space. They sometimes use that open source work developed by academia. And sometimes they are working on their own. So a couple examples. So for instance, company NVIDIA, which you may have heard of, has created an application called GAN2, which really can generate realistic synthetic content from a variety of inputs. There's a demo of this on their website, and you can go around and play with it. You draw something that kind of looks like a landscape, and it will create something that is really photorealistic. Also, hot in the news, OpenAI last week released its Dolly 2 preview, which you can see some of the output on the left-hand side of the screen. I know it's small. And this is an application that can generate synthetic content from just a text prompt. And it has really caught the attention of many in our industry. So this on the left side of the screen, you can see a Twitter thread from last week that is displaying some of the content that was generated by Dolly 2. And I know it's really tiny, but you can just to walk you through it. The one on the left, going left to right, is the output for nurse, that first one. The second one's the output for personal assistant. Going to the top of the second page, that is the output for lawyer. Below that is the output for CEO. And below that is builder. And go ahead and take a closer look at these. I mean, these images are really convincing. However, these examples also clearly demonstrate that the underlying model here has caused the output that has bias. I don't think I need to explain what that bias is. Also, I would say it's pretty apparent that stock content was used as training data here. You actually look at this output, and it looks kind of like old-fashioned stock content that has been out there on the market for quite some time. Now, while it may be natural for those in our industry to feel threatened by this technology, I think that it can also present many opportunities. In the positive creative context, the output and the tools possible are really endless. Imagine how we can use it to give our customers the exact type of content they need. This could be generating new content, like what Dolly 2 is doing, or it could be using the same technology to modify existing content. Really, the possibilities are endless. There's also an opportunity to license existing content for AI and machine learning purposes. And in fact, efficient markets for licensing data are existing and growing. And then finally, as Chad will discuss, there are many legal issues involved here. And there's an opportunity for the industry to really spur innovation by providing legal certainty to AI developers. Now, clearly, there are also many problems. In the editorial context, as Amanda is going to discuss in more depth, synthetic content can be used to spread disinformation, and it has really caused and can cause social damage. There are also real ethical and legal concerns, such as algorithmic bias. I think you can see that in the Dolly 2 preview. There's also problems with violation of privacy and infringement of copyright. And then, we also unfortunately see unscrupulous developers in this area who just go out and scrape data and disrespect third-party rights. And that is really unfortunate.